Hey everyone, so welcome to number 3 of my YouTube clips series. So where am I? I am now in San Francisco, California, and I've been here for I'm not even sure how many days I've been here. I think I've been here for at least 7 days. And I have 9 days left until I fly out of San Francisco and into China, Beijing to be exact. And I have a 3-hour layover in Beijing, and then I go to Zhengzhou. But I am actually going. Today I picked up my visa, which I'm very excited about. There was some complications with my visa, but everything has worked out fine, and I picked it up at the consulate today, and here it is. It's my passport, and I got this is the visa space right here. This little piece of paper right here says, important. The holder of this visa is kindly reminded to go through the procedures for obtaining the residence permit for aliens in local public security bureau within 30 days of entry to avoid illegal stay. I don't know how I'm supposed to do that, but I'm sure I'll figure it out once I get there, or somebody will tell me. This little mark right here is my short-term work visa when I was working in Canada, ever so briefly, with the Fringe Festival. Very exciting. If you've never heard of the Canadian Fringe Festival, you should look it up online. It goes all the way across Canada, and you can see some of the most amazing original plays ever created, ever, of all time. No, they're great. I mean, it was a really great experience. But I'm going on a tangent here. So, what have I been doing in San Francisco? Well, I originally came here because of the visa, and I was having some issues with getting that done, but now that's done. So I've got 9 days here to just sort of explore, and I've been here for I think about 7 days already. So far I have gone to North Beach, and I went to Cafe Triste, where Francis Ford Coppola wrote The Godfather. There were all these photos on the wall, and I've been to this cafe before. I like this cafe. I know it's a famous cafe, I can tell, but there's this crazy mix of people who are local people that they've always hung out in this cafe, and I swear I think I even had seen them 5 years ago hanging out in this cafe. A lot of them they look like they're probably in their 50s, just getting into their 60s. And then there's this big mesh of tourists coming in. Actually, while I was there was this man sleeping in a chair right out in front of the cafe, and he was wearing a suit, and he was sort of, fallen over, slumped over, and he had a walker, and he came into the cafe at some point after somebody woke him up. And I think this chair is his regular chair. I mean, it's an actual chair just sitting out there. And he came in, and he had, on his walker, he had the golf balls on the bottom, and which are common. But those wheels, they were like, as he was coming into the cafe. And he yelled out something about having to go to the bathroom. And then he must have exited another way. And then he started a fight with some bohemian-looking woman on the street corner. Very, very aggressive, angry, all in Italian. No, da 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 da, kind of yelling, and somebody came and separated them. And yeah, it was entertaining. I can see why The Godfather was written there. Not really. But the only reason I knew about The Godfather being written there, because I didn't really look at any of the photos, is that I went next door and I met this really nice man named Ed, who moved to San Francisco when he was 4 years old, and he's 68 now. And he told me all about how Francis Ford Coppola had sat in there and he had written the Godfather. So aside from that, I went up to the Coit Tower, and then from the Coit Tower I walked all the way down towards Greenwich and walked to these houses that were these apartments and houses that were sort of built on the hill, that's Telegraph Hill, that's underneath the Coit Tower, and there were all these little secret gardens that people had built there. And then I went all the way down there, and then I went to, which led me to the Embarcadero, and I walked all along the Embarcadero and Fisherman's Wharf and did all that. I went to the machine, what is it called? The machine museum. Like, that was a hard word to come up with. It was the machine museum, and they have all of these like video games. Well, they're calling them video games, but really they're just games that are as old as, like, some are over 100 years old. Really cool pieces made of toothpicks. Like, there was this whole toothpick carnival where there was a roller coaster ride that was all made of toothpicks, and then there was one of those things, there's swings, you get on them and they swing around like this. I used to love those when I would go to the fairs. Well, that was all made out of toothpicks. There was a band playing in the middle. There was the strength man with the game where you hit the bell and it shoots up to see how strong you are. I mean, all of this, and everything's about this big, and you pay a quarter, but I'm sure it was worth a penny when it was first created, and then the whole thing moves. Stuff like that. I mean, I really geeked out on this, and if you ever go to San Francisco and you happen to be on the wharf, you should go and visit this area. It's on Pier 45, and it's down by where they have, I think it's the Maritime ship, where you can go on a tour of a couple World War II submarines, and one submarine and a ship, but right next to it is this machine museum. And you can enter it on the other side, but I just kind of went in through the alleyway. And then I'm trying to think of other touristy things that I've done so far. Oh, one note. So I've been coming to San Francisco since I was probably 4 or 5. I've been coming every year. Usually it's been family trips with my dad or something. We'd go to Ghirardelli Square, Fisherman's Wharf, things like that. And then through the years, I've had various friends, collections of friends who have moved to San Francisco, and I've visited them in different districts. So about 35 years I've been coming to San Francisco at least once a year. And every year, ever since I was a child, I have wanted to go to Alcatraz. And so there I am on Fisherman's Wharf. And there's the ship, there's the Alcatraz ship. And I say to myself, that's it. I'm about to move to China. I'm vacationing in San Francisco, which is a really rare treat. I'm going to go to Alcatraz. The damn thing is sold out till August 26th. I live on the 24th. I think it was August 15th when I got there. August 26th? Seriously? So yet again, I am denied a trip to Alcatraz. It's like the only way I'm ever going to get there is get arrested. And of course, it's closed, so I won't get there that way either. So no Alcatraz this time. Note, if you want to go to Alcatraz during the summer, you have to book it way advance online, apparently. So, no Alcatraz. Today I went to the Jewish Contemporary Museum, and I went to see Allen Ginsberg's photography, and they called it the Beat Experience. And I had seen a lot of these photographs before because I've read tons of biographies on the Beats, and read several memoirs and the books themselves, and sometimes they have these photographs in there. But it was really fascinating to get to see these photographs up close, and to see the actual writings that Allen Ginsberg had written with them. Just really poignant photographs and fun pictures. But there was something that made them a little bit different than just your average snapshots that you take of your friends. Robert Frank had recently come through the Blue Sky Gallery, which is a gallery that I used to volunteer in, and he was basically like a photographer of beats. I mean, he's an amazing photographer, and he's really documented America through the years, in the really prominent in the 50s and 60s. But he had seen the quality and, I guess, the charm and the magic in these photographs that were just slightly different than your average snapshots. And I mean, of course, we're going to add something to it because we already know these people are historical literary figures now, that have made an impact on writing. But even saying that, and even though that we put that on these photographs, they still have something a little bit different to them. Just something in the eyes, something in the pose. Or maybe it's just the fact that I am adding all this stuff on top of it. So I don't know. You'd have to go see it for yourself. And then upstairs I went to an exhibit called Black Sabbath, which I thought was perfectly named. And it is about black music during the jazz era. So we're talking the 1930s and 40s, and Jewish music blended together. And this was really great. It was just set up with little tables, and then you could sit down and you just listen to the music. And such amazing music, and I feel like I've been really missing out on not going back into that era and just absorbing it. And I've heard so many of the songs in movies or little bits and pieces here in the background of some television show, but to just really listen to it, and also to have it broken down for you to where the Jewish influences in these jazz pieces, or sometimes these jazz singers would actually do a Hebrew song and then they would jazz it up. It's just really beautiful. I could have just stayed there for hours listening to all of the music. I did listen to Billie Holiday do Strange Fruit. It's just a powerful and painful song. I mean, it's amazing that anybody wrote anything like that, and how it can have such a beautiful, mournful tone to it, and then the lyrics be so incredibly horrific. If you've never heard Billie Holiday sing Strange Fruit, and I'm really sorry that I can't remember the name of the man that wrote it at the moment. He's a Jewish school teacher, high school teacher, and his name's Alan, and I'm completely blanking on the last name. But you're on the internet, so you can look that up. And that's it. Oh, sorry, this is shaking. And then I went to get something to eat at Mel's Diner, and I'm not really sure if that's the actual real Mel's Diner that they use from American Graffiti, but they've got pictures everywhere of American Graffiti, so I'm guessing it was. And that was a trip. There was so much hustle and bustle. I don't know how many employees they had working, but I kind of felt like I was actually in a movie where they script that the staff talks a lot and does all this sort of chatting, and that the host is really overly friendly and welcome to Mel's and can I help you out and what can I get for you? Good, you know, like this really overwhelming friendliness, to where I think I'm in an actual 1950s diner movie, like scripted, Pleasantville-esque. Yeah, that's it. I mean, I'm just trying to fill you guys in on what I've been doing so far. So I leave on the 24th for China. I'm not sure how many opportunities I'm going to get to do. I'm going to try and do one more post before then, just to be a little bit more China oriented versus, hey, I'm having fun in San Francisco. Yeah, I'm not really sure how many more I'm going to be able to do. I don't know how much access I'll have with internet and stuff like that, but I've been watching YouTube videos that are from China, so I know there's a way to do it. I know all about VPN, but we'll just have to see. But for now, we know that I have my visa. We know that I've been thoroughly enjoying myself in this amazing city. I love San Francisco so much. It's such a great city. It's so European. Yet American, very American, and the cultural diversity here is just insanely beautiful. I mean, so many people from all over the world. Um, yeah, I love it, and people have been really, really friendly. Um, Tomorrow I'm going to go to Golden Gate and hang out on the beach, and I do need to check out the marina, and I'm not sure what else to do, but I'll ask people, and maybe I'll fill you in. For those of you that know me, I just spent the past 2 days trying to teach my dad how to do email. He's a tough student. So I'm getting a little training before I start teaching. Yeah. Anyway, goodbye for now, you guys. I hope everyone's doing well. And to the strangers that watch this, I hope you're doing well too. Um, so long. Au revoir. Soon I'll be saying goodbye in Chinese.